Hello and welcome everyone. Vincent here, joined today by my good poodle Cam. So if I get distracted, that's why, because he likes putting his paws on me. Uh, anyways, if you're here, you're probably a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. At the very least, you're into the TCGs and card games like I am. So welcome to the channel. And if you're also familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh at all, you may know that there's two things that at least I hear in the community more than anything else. One, it is, wow, it'd be cool if we had some new formats. That'd be awesome. And two, wow, we can't have any new formats. There's no other ways we can play because the way Yu-Gi-Oh is designed, it just doesn't allow it. It's quite a monumental challenge, but I thought what Wizards of the Coast had done was really interesting, despite all their flaws and all the terrible things they do. At least this thing I think is actually a cool idea. They're introducing a bracket system to their commander games. And for those not aware, it's basically like a 5-tier bracket system, and essentially it gives sort of like a guideline to saying like, hey, are you playing commander at the highest level? Are you playing very casually? At this level, it's basically what a commander pre-con deck would be, and this one is when you do like goofy themes like Alice in Wonderland theme, and it's not meant to be powerful at all. And they lay it all out in a very like streamlined, efficient way for people to look at. Without further ado, let's get into the Yu-Gi-Oh bracket system. Alright, so here on the good old VindicatedEntertainment.com, we have Yu-Gi-Oh bracket system, find your perfect battlefield. Yu-Gi-Oh is an awesome game, but let's face it, not every deck is meant to compete at the same level. Some are all about anime-style fun, while others are finely tuned meta machines. The problem? When those decks clash, it's often a one-sided duel that isn't fun for either player. That's where the Yu-Gi-Oh bracket system comes in. Alright, so I have this nice Exo Sister illustration here, and then we get down to what is the bracket system. It's a new way to organize decks based on power level, so every duel feels fair and exciting. Whether you love wacky gimmicks, rogue decks, or top tier competition, there's a bracket just for you. Why play with brackets? You have balanced matchups, no more hopelessly mismatched duels. A home for every deck, whether you play for fun or for glory, there's a bracket that fits. Rogue decks get a fair shot. Your creative deck building actually matters. More variety in dueling. You're not forced to play meta just to stand a chance. So there's 5 brackets. Find your playstyle. So I want to go ahead and let you know, watching this, if you didn't catch this, this is me that put this out here. This is our website, Vindicated Entertainment, and this is sort of just me putting out into ether the idea of Yu-Gi-Oh having brackets, so players, and this is all just for casual fun, because the idea is like I have friends that play Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of them like to play meta, and so if we clash, our decks are just completely on a different level because we're building for different things. So this is just to give a better idea for what each person is playing towards, and hopefully be able to have games that are of a similar power level and built for a similar power level. I'm coming at this from a game designer perspective and not from someone who plays meta Yu-Gi-Oh. So I may be off when it comes to certain criteria or certain limits or something like that. So for those that are more familiar with that, this is meant to be more a suggestion, looking for your feedback and to have a discussion, than it is for me to say that this is absolute and everyone should listen to me on this. And I know 100% better than everyone else. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, hey, let's open up the discussion. This is my proposed idea, and as with anything, we can go back and retool it and edit it and see where it goes from here. So, with all that being said, bracket 1 is for pure fun, anime, and gimmick decks for those who play Yu-Gi-Oh! For the love of cool cards and fun themes. This one's very much the anime-inspired and creative themed decks. Joey's Red Eyes, Yugi's Dark Magician, dice rolling as a theme. This would basically have no floodgates, no hand traps, no generic support in the extra deck. Limit to 1 generic support card in the main deck. Something like a reinforcement of the army if you're doing sort of like a warrior theme. That's the general idea. And I mean, hey, if you have 2 cards that are generic support, that's that can be okay. It's just this is more meant to be a guideline. And you can have a bracket 1 and bracket 2 fight against each other, especially if you're just barely kind of going outside the perimeters. But this is just meant to give an idea and a direction for people. For bracket 2, we have the casual archetype for deck purists who love playing in strategy, a strategy the way it was meant to be played. So Hero, Cyber Dragon, Black Wings, Limit to 1 floodgate, 1 hand trap, no generic support in the extra deck. Limit to 3 generic support in the main deck. So the idea is like you're playing Black Wings. You're not sitting here, you know, synchro summoning into some awesome generic support that everyone's running. This is meant to be a lot more like you're playing that theme that you really want to, you know, enjoy and playing that up. Bracket 3 is your rogue decks, your off-meta strategies that are good but not too strong. So limit to 3 floodgates, 3 hand traps, 5 generic support cards in the main deck, 7 generic support in the extra deck, and then 4 you get into the competitive here. So 7 floodgates, 7 hand traps, 10 generic support cards in the extra deck. And then bracket 5 is your meta, the best of the best, no restrictions, everything goes. Of course, you're still following the forbidden list. So, you know, just because it says no restrictions, it doesn't mean that you're not following that list. That list applies across the board, unless you're playing, like, I guess, ultra casual, and maybe, I don't know, maybe if you don't want to include it. In general, yeah, it's basically you're counting the forbidden list. And so that's what we're looking at here. So where do you belong? No matter what kind of player you are, there's a bracket that lets you duel at your best. Want to duel like an anime episode, you got bracket 1. Want a fair challenge for your rogue deck, bracket 3. Want full power meta action, bracket 5. Of course, opinions may vary between players, but this should help categorize Yu-Gi-Oh players so we can enjoy games at similar power levels. As always, we welcome feedback to make this better. Be sure to hop into our Discord community. And yeah, so what are you waiting for? Find your bracket and start dueling. So you know, and if you're watching this channel, you know that I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up watching it with my dad. I grew up playing. I've been playing since the game released. I definitely, you know, I don't play competitively anymore, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But, you know, most of my decks, you know, I have some old school decks that kind of fit more in bracket 1. I got some that are bracket 2. I got some that are bracket 3. I don't have anything in 4 and 5 because, like I said, I don't play competitively. But if I was playing with my friends and they were using this list, and we could say, like, hey, like, about which of these brackets are you in? And they tell me it's 4 or 5. And I say, hey, can you make a deck that fits more in 2? And then they look at this, and then they might say, hey, all right, cool. Yeah, I can build a deck for that. And it might not be their preferred way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's a way that we can play Yu-Gi-Oh together. So I think ultimately that's a good idea. And that's something that I would love to see. And hopefully I'm not alone in this. So let me know how you feel about it. Are you a Yu-Gi-Oh fan? Do you wish that you could play sort of these less powerful tiers in Yu-Gi-Oh and still have enjoyment and not just get completely thrashed out the gate? Let me know how you feel. If you want to just talk and discuss with other Yu-Gi-Oh players, you can drop a comment below, like the video so other people see this and this catches on, and be sure to jump into our Discord community where we talk games and anime. We'd love to have you there, and as always, stay awesome.
Guess I have no choice. It's time to save the world.